make it sort of not happen. Last thing, and I don't know if you'll have a hot take on this at all. I haven't previewed this with you, but I think we were both struck, right, in the episode we did last year about how difficult the federal government makes merger and acquisition activity for higher ed. Walter talked about how accommodating and smart the accreditors have been, right? That their natural process, to be clear, is not that, but that they made a lot of adjustments to really help them pull it off and not be behind the eight ball. That was fascinating, I think. I'm just curious, you're in the Beltway. I'm not up here in Boston. Do you hear any discussion about the Trump administration that theoretically likes less regulation? I say theoretically because higher ed, it's not clear that they like less regulation. But do you think we might see any dereg around the college merger process, or is this a who knows what's going on category?
I think this is a little bit about who knows. I don't think I don't get the sense this is on their radar. I was part of a M&A convening back in April, and my big takeaway from that is just how many entities are involved in this, and we got a specter of that. We got a sense of that from some of our previous episodes. We have the accreditors, in some cases multiple accreditors. We have the state, and we obviously have the federal government as part of this. So, Michael, even if the federal government were able to deregulate this, to be honest with you, politically, we're not necessarily in a lot. These are probably, I would imagine, more blue states than red states when it comes to the type of institutions that would end up merging. They don't tend to be the places that are in a deregulatory state. In fact, especially when it comes to higher ed, I think they're more focused on consumer protection. You know that from being in Massachusetts. So even if we were able to have this happen at the federal government level, we still have these two other entities which are pretty important in this whole process. That is the accreditors, which seem to be getting on board, I get the sense. But then we also have the states.
All right, Jeff, let's leave it there. I think that's a pretty robust conversation. As you said, peeling the onion back, we keep getting more and more nuance. We're going to do more on this topic, forewarning our listeners, but it just keeps getting more and more interesting because there's a lot of dimensions to this and a lot of need, frankly, as well. Before we leave, though, we're going to bring Walter back one more time for his take to our lightning round segment to get to know him better and some of his hot takes on his time in higher ed.